Good morning, America, and the internet, and YouTube, and Twitter, and Facebook, and everybody else. Thank you for viewing my videos. Thank you for the public discourse, whether you agree or disagree. Now, I don't normally do this. I'm not that type of person. I'm actually very humble. I'm a very humble person. I come from humble beginnings. I don't gloat. But for once, I'm right. And for that, I'm patting myself on the back. Because for the longest time, and it hasn't been only me, many people, over the course of years, have been saying that Washington is the same side. It's two sides of a shit-covered coin. And what happened this week? What happened? Thank you. And my hand goes out for a handshake to whoever was responsible for leaking the DNC emails. Be it anonymous, be it a Russian hacker, be it some Asian sitting in an internet cafe somewhere. Here is my hand. I will say thank you, because finally you started a glimmer of a fire of awakening in my country to the shit show that Washington and our leadership is. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not a Bernie Sanders supporter. Never was, never will be. In fact, one of the wonderful hashtags that I dreamed up the other day, and hopefully nobody copyrights it or starts making t-shirts on it without without me doing it first. My favorite hashtag that I've come up with, hashtag fuck Bernie. And I want to tell you why that I thought of this hashtag. Because when Bernie Sanders started his campaign, actually prior to Bernie Sanders starting his campaign, when he was fielding the idea of running, everybody told him to not ally himself with either party. And there was a very clear reason for that. Because as a fundamentally different thinking person, as somebody who wanted better for the country outside of the hamster wheel ideal that the two-party system and the politicos in Washington had erected for this country, he would get screwed over. But he did not listen. He's been a senator. He's been a governor and a mayor. He's worked his way up from the bottom. And yet, after his exposure to all the stupid crap and the backstabbing and the underhandedness and the lying that he knows goes on daily, what did he do? He aligned himself with the Democratic National Convention. What did that get you, Bernie? Sabotaged by someone who thinks that she is anointed by the powers that be to become the first female president of the United States. The least qualified female to become president of the United States. Because Hillary Clinton has not done shit. There are leadership on the state and local level that have done more for their own people than Hillary Rodham Clinton ever will. And yet, she's gone and magically incorporated some of Bernie Sanders' ideas, supposedly, into the Democratic platform. How much you want to bet none of them ever get realized? Or if they do, they're not in any way that really benefits people. But you know what? Fuck Bernie. Because Bernie surrendered. Bernie got all of these people believing that for once. And this is where I fault people. People are flawed, but I fault you. You people out there waving Bernie signs every day and protesting his name. He failed you. You mostly. Not necessarily me. But you. He failed you. Because he got up on that stage 2 days ago, after spending his entire campaign reminding the world that Hillary Rodham Clinton is in the bankroll of big banks, of Wall Street, and the Saudi royal family. He gets up there on that stage tucks his balls between his legs, pulls his dick up his ass crack, and goes, "It's the best interest of the American people to support Hillary Rodham Clinton." You fucking sellout. What a sellout. You should be ashamed of yourself. Thoroughly ashamed of yourself. And what's more disappointing and more repugnant is the reaction that's coming from this. The ire that is being directed at Bernie Sanders supporters who, along with a growing number of Americans, are waking up to this two-sided shit-covered coin that Washington and the political system is, to tell them that they're immature third graders standing in the way of progress. For Seth Meyers, some fucking whack, pathetically unfunny late-night host, to come in and go, "Oh, just get over it. We don't have time for this." We don't have time for this? I don't have time to watch my country go to shit anymore. I don't have time to read emails circulated amongst Democrats where soliciting voters was called a taco bowl. And what's even more repugnant, John Leguizamo's out there supporting Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was complicit in this. She knew this. Debbie Wasserstrom might as well be her lesbian lover. That's how far up each other's cunts they are. And he's out there supporting and defending her. A Latino male. What has she done for you? What has she done for Latino women? For any women? Nothing. Nothing. When Republicans were out there trying to defund Planned Parenthood, you didn't hear shit from her. She might as well just mumbled into her hand and went, "Ha, stupid sheep." Nothing. For once, the American people might finally be awakening. I hope they are. I honest to God, hope they are. But I'm worried. I really am worried, because if we're lucky, because we live in an ADHD society where, we're chronically looking at cell phones, and we're chronically looking at the internet, and being fed bullshit by a media loop. I mean, God, I was watching the CNN coverage of the Democratic National Convention. I had to refrain from vomiting on the bus to and from work every day. It was repugnant, the pandering that I saw. And it's both sides, but it was extremely and flagrantly obvious with the Democrats this time. They're scared. They're scared. What are they scared of, though? That their own malfeasance and corruption were exposed? Or are they scared of losing to someone who's a nationalist? And this needs to be said. Trump can't be president. He is not a great candidate for president. He's nowhere near as qualified. He's not qualified. No. But, as a man who has worked with hardworking American people, we're stepping back for a second. I don't want to talk about whether he's stiff people and his bankruptcies. Let's take a step back for a second. The man is an American. First and foremost. Okay? He's an American. He may have come from money, but what he has now came from his own business savvy. And his own failures. He's a failure. Everybody's a failure. Nobody out there is 100% successful. Everybody's had failures. But his nationalist view is a good thing. It's not xenophobic, and it's not racist, and it's not Islamophobic, whatever. Whatever. Put your phobias away. Fuck that shit for a second. Let's use our noggins. We evolved a wonderful instrument called a brain. Let's use it for a second. He wants to put the American people first, which every other country out there does. They put their own citizens first. Prior to immigrants, refugees, anybody else, it's their own citizens first. They're the ones that get a single-payer health care program. They're the ones that get guaranteed pensions when they retire. They're the ones that are guaranteed they won't be homeless because they need an operation. They're the ones that are guaranteed a free education at a public college. But in this country, we treat our own citizens as second-class citizens. We are being outpaced by the rest of the world in education, in literacy, in economic planning. And should we be surprised? Our country is sitting on the largest debt in modern history. Where did that debt come from? Malfeasance in spending, budgetary management, funding illegal wars. Yes, I'm going to say it. Illegal wars. That the American people sat on their hands and went, okay. And then 10 years down the line, when it comes out, it was a shit show. Oh, Bush should pay. No, you should pay. You got blood on your hands. I got blood on my hands. Every American out there has blood on their hands for not getting up and saying, no, enough. We are not the police of the world. We are not going to force our democratic ideals on people that don't want them. We are not going to go around and depose dictators and leaders of countries and destroy their military and destroy their infrastructure, and then when they need us the most, cut tail and run. No. Enough. This is where Trump is right. We need to start putting our people first. There should not be a single homeless American in America. No child should go hungry. No woman should fear being raped or have her reproductive rights taken away from her. It's not even a right. It is a biological imperative. We should not be legislated. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There's nothing in our Constitution that says must be legislated by criminals. Washington is a sewer. It is a bubbling toilet with turds that fracture and multiply. And we're fine with it. There are 3 constitutional amendments that need to go in. It doesn't need to be done by lawmakers. The people could do it tomorrow. We can get our asses out of our seats, march up to the wall in Washington and demand this. First one. Very first one. English. American English is national language. Because that alone cuts down every barrier in this country. Because if you come here, you live here, you work here, and you speak the language, you are American. We are all American. There is no hyphenation. I am not Polish, Italian, Russian, American. I was born here. I'm American. That's the first one. Second amendment should be term limits for all politicians. All the fucking career criminals up in D.C., in the state, in the Senate, and the House. People who spend upwards of 50 years lying, cheating, stealing, not representing their own constituents. People who are so outdated, they don't know how to use a cell phone. They don't understand the concept of net neutrality, internet privacy, NSA spying. None of it. Some of them are old enough to remember whole carts and wagons when ice used to be delivered to their houses. That's how long they've been up there. Washington is out of touch with the world. Not just the country, the world. We face threats, some of them created by our own malfeasance. And what is our answer? To flood our streets with enemy. It's not working too well in Europe. So here's where Trump, for all his warts and flaws, yeah, the man's right. We need to start being more nationalist. Because the American flag it's not even about a symbol. It's about an ideal. It's about how we come together as a country. We know no race, no sexuality, no gender. This grandstand, this idea of the first female president. You know, there never was a litmus test for excellence before. Ever. We didn't have to have a black president, a woman president, a gay president. No. We found the best qualified person for a job, and they got the job. Every successful CEO, every successful manager, entrepreneur, they didn't earn it based on the color of their skin, they didn't earn it on their anatomy, who they slept with. No, they earned it on their own merits. And that's something that we should be instilling in every facet of this country, be it law enforcement, be it politicians, be it teachers. Every facet of this society should have that same goal. But what are we telling our children? Laws don't matter. We will parade an illegal immigrant who stayed in this country long enough to earn a college degree up on stage as a shining example of the American dream. What? We're willing to turn the other cheek when civilians are murdered by police, regardless of race, because it's wrong to question the Brotherhood of Blue. What? We're willing to turn another cheek as our hard-earned tax dollars are egregiously misspent, or funneled to countries that don't even need it. World War II is over. This is another thing that, Trump has a really, and it's not just Trump. Trump is smart. He absorbs from many different facets of information, and he augments them. They sound like his evil, maniacal, white man ideas. No. Go do some fact-finding. All of you people who are so fond of being on the internet all the time, do some Googling. Look up national debt. Look up post-World War II rebuild. World War II has been over for quite some time, and we're still funneling money to European countries. We are under a NATO doctrine to basically militarily protect our allies under the guise of them giving us either financial or military backup. We're getting none. There are maybe 2 countries out of all the ones that fall under that agreement, I think there's about a dozen of them, that actually kick back. We're talking in the number of trillions of dollars. Think about that. Trillions of dollars and we still have homeless. Trillions of dollars and we still have poor and vets living on the streets. Trillions of dollars and we have an outdated national infrastructure. We send $2 billion a year to Israel, one of the second wealthiest country in the Middle East. $2 billion would put every child born today in America through a 4-year college. Every one of them. $2 billion would fund a single-payer health program for 2 years. Think about that. And it's not just money. We've been complicit. And this is the one thing that people need to start realizing about Clinton, of all things. Benghazi in Libya was us funneling arms to supposed moderate Muslim militants. Moderate militant. How do you know? Now, don't get me wrong. Dictatorships, for the most part, are wrong. They're evil. But, as us Americans have learned, if we want something bad enough, we get it ourselves. We don't get it spoon-fed to us by other people. We never had democracy jammed down our throat at the barrel of a gun and the threat of a bomb. But that's what we've been doing. But there's been plenty of ulterior motives. Dictators that didn't want to go along with funneling their wealth, their own national wealth, be it oil, gas, coal, minerals, to the rest of the world. So what do? Oh, we get them deposed. But in the same vein, we destroy the countries that we attack's infrastructure. We got their military, and then when these people need us the most, where are we? We cut tail and run. We have a horrible history of doing that. First we were doing it internationally, now we're doing it to our own people. And we seem to be fine with it. And this is where, right now, there is this kindling of awakening. There are a lot of angry people, mostly Bernie supporters, and mostly people that hate Hillary Clinton and can't fathom the idea of Donald Trump in power. But it goes beyond these three things. This is bigger. Bigger. And for once, the American people need to stop having ADHD. Stop being distracted by a media cycle that will take this and bury this. They're already trying it. The media is trying. Oh, well, these were just, independent people inside the DNC. No. Debbie Wasserstrom was basically scissoring Hillary Clinton. They might as well have their vaginas surgically attached. Hillary Clinton knew damn well what the hell they were doing to Bernie Sanders. She didn't care. She didn't care. Because she's the anointed one. And this is what the American people, hopefully, I'm praying, finally have awoken to. Finally are listening. We're no longer conspiracy theorists and nut jobs. They're actually listening to us, for once, and going, holy shit, we're fucked. We gotta stop. And it starts with us. So yeah, be angry. Be damn angry. But segue your anger to actual progress. You want to do, one of the things, people always tell me about, how can you complain about a process that you don't participate in? I have never voted. I want to be clear. I'm not a registered voter. I've never voted for anything. Local, state, federal, never. There's a reason for that. I don't want blood on my hands. I don't want to be blamed for the shit show that has been allowed to go on. I am not going to be complicit in a system that's end goal is to keep me and everybody else downtrodden and ignorant. I refuse. And this is where the American people, if you are this fired up and this disappointed, I'll use the South Park reference. Douche, taco, shit taco, and a douche sandwich. My bad. This is how dated I am. Shit taco and a douche sandwich. This is what you're choosing between. The lesser of two pieces of shit on the bottom of your shoe. If you think this is not satisfactory enough, do not vote. Stay the fuck home. In November, don't vote. And when the Senate comes up and the House comes up for renewal, do not vote. Stay home. When CNN and Fox News and all these media outlets go to tally the votes in November, and they're all sitting there going, can this be right? Is this a glitch? Everything's zero. You'll blow their fucking minds, and you'll send the loudest message ever in this country that we no longer have faith in the system. But, hand in hand with this, we need to realize that there are people, plenty of people, regardless of their political party affiliation, that are doing amazing things in this country, that still actually look out for the people, who are engaging in progressive solutions to homelessness, undereducation, drug addiction. These are the people that should be in power. Not without checks and balances, not without this flagrant pass to do whatever the hell they want, under the guise of fear and our own stupidity. No. But the time has come to say, corporate, out of Washington. Political criminals, out of Washington. Lawyers, thieves, out. Out. You all belong in fucking jail. Put the people that are representing the best of this country, because it's still there, under all the vanity and the pursuit of stupid shit, and our distraction of social media and celebrity. Underneath all that stupid shit, to the core of this country, this is still an amazing country. It never stopped being an amazing country. All these people that are coming up and going, oh, America's racist. No, stop. America is great. It is a great country. But it could be fucking fabulous. Let's use a gay cliche. It's gonna be fabulous. It can be. You know, one of the greatest things that somebody ever said, and I wish I could remember who said it. God never meant for heaven to be an elusive goal, an elusive target that you only get to when you die. Jesus always said, and I'm not a religious person, but Jesus always said that heaven can be an implement on earth. Treat your fellow man the way you would be treated. I never want to be poor. I don't want to be uneducated. I don't want my rights stripped away. I don't want to be legislated. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There is nothing in our Constitution that says must be legislated by criminals. But we've let it go on. So I implore every American today, after this shit show of a DNC is over, and hopefully a lot more comes out, I am praying that whoever was responsible for these leaks keeps it up. Because the news cycle and our lack of attention and our lack of will, let's be honest, we as people have become very complacent. But I think we need to keep being fired up. We need to keep reminded, however ugly it is, however disappointing it is, and shaming of ourselves, we need to be reminded constantly of what we have allowed to go on for way too long. And we need to send a clear message to the whole establishment. No more. No more. Stay home in November, people. Do not vote. And it can't be just one select group that doesn't vote. It can't just be Bernie supporters or feminists. It needs to be all of us. For once. Stay home. Stay with your families. In fact, you know what? Every family should bust themselves up to the mall in Washington and go sing the Pledge of Allegiance. Recite the opening lines of the Constitution as loud as fucking hell. And send the message, this is our country, not yours. But I'll be honest with you, I'm worried. I don't think you guys are going to do it. I've said this many a times in my videos. We are a complacent people. We live in a degree of opulence and privilege as a people, as a country, that we sometimes forget just how bad we had it and how bad others do have it. One of the things we've failed to live up to as a nation, as a supposed emblem of freedom, is the fact that our inalienable rights are everybody's inalienable rights. We're doing a severe disjustice by allowing poverty to continue in this world. It is the biggest cause of war, crime, extremism. If you could destroy poverty tomorrow, so many ills of this world would go away. And I don't view the world through rosy glasses. There's always going to be evil. There's always going to be unfortunate circumstances and downtrodden. We're never all going to start on a level playing field. But that doesn't mean we should be kicking each other down. Labeling each other as racists. Attaching a million phobias to personal beliefs, and many a times truths, is not going to help us. My grandmother came to this country not in the idea that it was going to be divisive. She saw the potential in this country. She came here. She learned the language. She came after World War I. She saw what it was like to see neighbors fighting neighbors, killing neighbors. She wanted better. She adopted my father. My father was an adoptee. And she loved my father. Foreign national came to this country, learned the language, adopted an American child, contributed to this society. This is the thing we need to understand. Just because we don't like the system doesn't mean we take our rules and our laws and we just throw them out the door. No. Structure ourselves in a way where we want the best for this country and its citizens. And start now. You want to call it reform? Fine. Call it reform. Call it immigration reform, wage reform, whatever you want to reform. It's not reform. It's in its base, the idea of a living wage, of a right to educate. These are things that are in a free nation something that everybody should have. It doesn't need reform. It doesn't need legislation. We need to start looking out for our own, and it needs to start now.